It's time to go over my top 12 quarterback rankings. Let's get it. Starting at number 1, we have Josh Allen. Allen vaults into the number 1 spot for me for several reasons. Number 1, Patrick Mahomes lost Tyreek Hill. Number 2, Josh Allen has elite rushing ability. Number 3, Josh Allen has a wide receiver he can trust in Stephon Diggs and an upcoming wide receiver in Gabriel Davis. I see Allen as the clear number 1 this year in fantasy. I see him being taken in the second round in some drafts, so I can safely say that I'm going to have 0 shares of Allen in 2022 because I'm not willing to pay that price. I'm an advocate for late round quarterback just due to the sheer talent they have even outside of the top 12. Just for example, the number 4 quarterback on my list is being drafted in the 7th round. Now coming in at number 2, we have Justin Herbert. I know some of you guys are shaking your head right now saying, wait, where the heck is Patrick Mahomes? But don't worry, he'll be up here soon enough. But for right now, Herbert is the quarterback of the future. The offense is tailored around Herbert to find success early and often in 2022. With the wide receivers like Keenan Allen and Mike Williams on the outside and a running back like Austin Eckler, 5,000 yards passing and a buttload of touchdowns could be in store for Herbert. Put it this way, if it wasn't for Allen's rushing ability, I would have Herbert as my number 1 quarterback this year. Finally, at number 3, we have Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes is another quarterback for the future and is a deadly gunslinger. The one thing he has going against him is losing a barn burner like Tyreek Hill. If you end up with Mahomes as your quarterback, you're surely going to be happy this year with his production. He is by no means a slouch, but I had to drop him a few notches because Kelsey is a year older and he's now throwing to wide receivers such as Juju Smith-Schuster and MVS. I mean, it's easy to see Mahomes having a slightly lower production, which will still have him as a top 3 finish in 2022. Next to number 4, and I believe this is the year that Jalen Hurts shows the NFL that he belongs. Not only is Hurts the primary runner for this offense, but they now gave him A.J. Brown to throw the ball to. I mean, I called it in an earlier video. I think Jalen Hurts becomes a fantasy football goldmine in 2022. He's being drafted in the 7th round right now, and that will be a steal for what he can provide for your fantasy team. Another thing Hurts has going for him is the division that he plays in. Needless to say, the NFC least has some defense in it that make your mouth water as a fantasy owner. Select Hurts and watch your fantasy points rise in 2022. Now on to number 5, and I'm going to talk about another mobile quarterback in Lamar Jackson. I don't believe he will be as dynamic as his 2019 MVP season, but I think Jackson has no choice but to put up the team right onto his shoulders and go out there and just ball out. Lamar Jackson to Mark Andrews will be the known statement to everyone by the end of 2022. The number of times Jackson tucks the ball and goes off running has fantasy owners both excited and nervous. They're excited because they can feel those fantasy points just building. They're very nervous because it only takes one hit to knock them out for the season. If you are one for thrill rides and would like to take a roller coaster for a spin, then by all means grab Lamar Jackson in your drafts. At number 6, I'm going to go with Dak Prescott. Dak is the one quarterback on this list who could throw for 400 plus yards a game for multiple games in a row without batting an eye, and then he throws down for 200 yards in the next game. He just has a lot of inconsistency, which is what caused him to drop to number 6 in my list. The loss of Amari Cooper isn't too much of a concern for me. See, the Cowboys do still have a good receiving core, as well as a good tight end in Dalton Schultz. CeeDee Lamb should take a leap forward this year, giving Dak Prescott a reliable option to throw to week in and week out. Dak is a quarterback you can get later in your draft and be happy with his production in most weeks. Again, why take a quarterback in the 2nd round when you could be taking these guys in the middle to late rounds? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Dak finished in the top 5 in 2022. Now let's talk about the number 7 quarterback on my list, and that's going to be Tom Brady. Brady is a quarterback that I am completely done giving up on. Year after year, I'm always saying, this is the year I see Brady falling off. Nope, Not this year. Brady produces solid numbers every year, and with this likely being his last year in the league, he's going to want to sling the ball around, making records that will be hard to beat. Even with the possibility of not having Chris Godwin to start the season, Mike Evans and Russell Gage are more than enough firepower for Brady to continue his dominance in the league. Also, with Gronk announcing his retirement, Old Faithful Cameron Brate will be the main tight end target this season. Overall, the Bucs will have one of the best offenses in the league, and will be mainly because of Brady's arm. Stop worrying about Brady's age and start trusting he is a quarterback you can count on in 2022. Next is number 8 on my list, Kyler Murray. I actually would place Murray ahead of Brady, but with Hopkins missing the first games of the season, there's no way I could place Murray above Brady. Murray does, however, give you some rushing upside. He just simply does not have the weapons that Brady has. Not only will Murray be missing his top wide receiver, but he also plays in a brutal division. I may have Murray in my top 8 spot, but I wouldn't mind some other quarterbacks below him on the list on my team to begin the season. The risk levels are just too rich for my blood in 2022. Number 9 on my list is Russell Wilson. I believe Wilson will start to trend back to what they're used to seeing from him from a fantasy aspect. He has a good team again. Back in the day with Marshawn Lynch at running back and a good defense, Wilson was able to be a very effective quarterback for your fantasy team. In the last few years with the Seahawks, Wilson was needed to carry the entire team on his shoulders. His defense was straight trash, and he had no run game to take the pressure off of him. Now in Denver, he has a two-headed monster in Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams, as well as a solid defense. Look for Wilson to put up consistent numbers for your team in 2022. Now at number 10, let's talk about Derek Carr. Carr won the off-season lottery when college teammate Devonta Adams decided to join him on the Raiders. With tight end Darren Waller coming back from injury, Devonta Adams on the sideline, and Hunter Renfrow coming into his own, Derek Carr is finally set up for success this season. You can get Carr towards the end of your drafts, and if you're able to land Devonta Adams early in the draft, you could have a very potent combo that should produce quality numbers for you week in and week out. I can easily see Derek Carr as a top 10 quarterback in 2022. At number 11, we have Joe Burrow. I already can hear people saying to me now, how the heck can Bayou have Joe Burrow at number 11? He went to the Super Bowl, and he was amazing last year as a fantasy quarterback. Well, hold on, pump the brakes there, small fry. First off, we're going to go into the Super Bowl, it gives you 0 points for your fantasy team, okay? Secondly, if you guys can remember, a large portion of Burrow's fantasy points came towards the end of the season. Before then, Burrow wasn't even on fantasy rosters. Burrow needs to show that he can produce for an entire season before I can place him in my top 10. Now don't get me wrong, I believe Burrow is one heck of a quarterback, and I do believe he can give you some special weeks, but I just need to see it first. Now lastly, let's talk about my number 12 quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. What can I say about this guy? This is an MVP talented quarterback. He lost his number 1 wide receiver, which will no doubt hinder his numbers, but Aaron Rodgers has proven that he can produce as a fantasy quarterback without Adams. Now, he may not be as consistent or throw up those gaudy numbers, but they drafted a couple wide receivers. They have Allen Lazard, they added Randall Cobb, they got Sammy Watkins. They have receivers that can get the job done, and Rodgers is a good enough quarterback to find those receivers and give them a catchable ball. Rodgers was a top quarterback back in the day, before the MAHOMES of the world and the HERBERTs of the world and the Josh Allens of the world. Right now, you can get Rodgers towards the end of your draft, rightfully so, but he could play large dividends for you if he ends up with a serviceable wide receiver this season. As always, thank you for watching the video. If you aren't subscribed yet, be sure to hit that subscribe button, it really helps me out. We're dropping all types of content leading up into the season. I can't wait to see you guys in the next video. See you guys next time.